Since the dawn of time, revolts and independence movements have happened all around the world. Now will this be the same in the Minecraft world? We look at two players who both decided they wanted independence and both took over an island which is now abandoned. Today we look through the Graymane's history books, which all can be true and can all be found in history of the world. If you'd like to participate in this world, make sure to join the Discord, which has got a link in the description. It all started when a player called SypreX joined the world. Now SypreX was just going to be like any other player who just built a house. However, he had different plans and wanted to own an island for himself and for some of his friends. This island that SypreX conquered or wanted for himself was then granted by Sir Papa Fox and wasn't very far from his house or from the spawn. SypreX got to work very quickly building a wheat farm and a sugarcane farm, as well as building his own little house and terraforming the new land he'd conquered. He also created a port and a public storage on the far left of the island, as well as he had a swamp on the far right. His house was quite under-equipped compared to many houses in the world. However, it was still a decent little hut and a decent place for him to set up camp. SypreX compared himself to the leader of Germany in World War II. Now, this one settled many players in the world, so the only person who actually did live on the island he conquered was himself. Now, this was all set to change when a player called Trojan eyed up the new island after SypreX became inactive on the world. Trojan was a normal passive player in the world and eyed up the new island and wanted to build a castle for himself. After SypreX had neglected the land, Sir Papa Fox allowed Trojan to use that land to build a castle. This castle took over a year to construct based on different reasons. However, Trojan eventually completed it. It is important to note that both Trojan and SypreX both came very early in the world and around June of 2018. It wouldn't be till nearly over a year later in late 2019 that Trojan would eventually complete the castle. This was done by many help from many players, and the world by that time had developed to be able to get the stone bricks necessary to complete it. Alas, that castle did not last very long either, and players came together in lockdown of 2020 in the UK to come and destroy the castle. The castle only had one major event, and that was a build battle that never really took ground. The castle was destroyed for many reasons, and the main reason being that it never got used. However, in early 2020 it did look outdated and didn't look like it fit in the world anymore. Now, once the last stone brick had been destroyed, all of the land was now grassed up, and all of the old furnaces and chests were now in the public storage. The first building to be built was a recreation of the famous TV series called The Chase. This building was then transformed to the House of Commons, where leaders still come together to sort out world issues. The second building was built by the oldest company in the world called Foxy Foods. This is now abandoned, and the building was used to create crops and even had its own aquarium, which has been destroyed by griefers. Now, most of the edges of the land is now housing estates. Now, most of these players who own these houses are now left the world, so this area is now basically abandoned. New players still get put here, however, because these new players don't come back, this land is now abandoned. With the lack of resources around here, many houses are in disarray and don't look very good. There's one form of transport to the island, and that is an ice bridge. Now, this goes to the desert, which is close to the road bridges which connect the desert of Fox Island and the Fox Kingdom. Now, both buildings have basically been abandoned, and you can struggle to get up to the desert building as it's 2 blocks higher than the current ground level. So what does the future hold for the old island / old castle building? Who knows? There's been many possibilities of it being sold, however all attempts at being sold have been crushed, and at the moment it is just an abandoned wasteland.